Chapters '09, Ethical AI, Human-Machine Coexistence and Leadership in an Age of Uncertainty, Abstract. This chapter confronts one of the defining questions of the 21st century: how humanity is to coexist ethically with increasingly autonomous, powerful, and opaque technological systems. Moving beyond optimization-driven and compliance-oriented models of AI ethics, the chapter advances quiet excellence as a doctrine of post-optimization ethics, one that anchors artificial intelligence governance in human dignity, nervous system safety, lawful restraint, and violence prevention, integrating bioethics, leadership theory, international law, post-colonial critique, and applied AI governance. The chapter articulates a coherent framework for ethical decision-making under algorithmic uncertainty. AI is treated not as a neutral tool nor an inevitable destiny, but as a moral amplifier whose impact depends entirely on the ethical maturity of the systems that design, deploy, and govern it. 9.1. The End of Technological Innocence. The contemporary moment marks the end of technological innocence. Artificial intelligence systems now participate directly in decisions affecting liberty, access to resources, credibility, and life chances. Claims of neutrality or inevitability no longer withstand scrutiny. This chapter asserts that ethical leadership in the age of AI begins with acknowledging that technological systems embed values, distribute power, and scale harm when improperly governed. Quiet excellence enters this landscape not as resistance to technology, but as an ethical orientation capable of containing its force. 9.2. Quiet excellence as post-optimization ethics. Dominant AI paradigms prioritize speed, efficiency, prediction, and scale. Quiet excellence represents a decisive break from this logic. It defines ethical success not by optimization, but by harm prevention, dignity preservation, and restraint under power. In this framework, the most advanced system is not the fastest or most profitable, but the one least likely to produce irreversible harm. This reorientation establishes quiet excellence as a post-optimization ethic, one suited for a future where capability outpaces wisdom. 9.3. Embodiment and somatic ethics. Ethical reasoning is not purely cognitive, it is embodied. Drawing on trauma science and nervous system research, this chapter positions presence and regulation as bioethical preconditions for responsible leadership in AI governance. Systems designed and governed by dysregulated humans tend to externalize fear, urgency, and dominance into code. Conversely, leadership grounded in nervous system stability is more likely to design technologies that respect limits, consent, and reversibility. Somatic ethics thus becomes a foundational layer of ethical AI. 9.4. Human-machine boundary integrity. A central ethical challenge of AI is boundary erosion between assistance and authority, recommendation and decision, human judgment and algorithmic output. Quiet excellence insists on boundary integrity as a non-negotiable safeguard. AI may inform, but must never replace accountable human judgment, particularly in domains involving rights, punishment, access, or identity. This chapter establishes boundary integrity as a legal, ethical, and psychological necessity. 9.5. Case studies of algorithmic harm. Empirical grounding reveals the consequences of ethical failure. Predictive policing systems have disproportionately targeted marginalized communities. Facial recognition technologies such as Clearview AI have eroded privacy and consent at scale. Risk assessment tools like Compass have obscured bias behind claims of objectivity. These cases demonstrate that without contestability, transparency, and legal accountability, AI systems magnify structural violence. Quiet excellence reframes these failures as governance breakdowns rather than technical anomalies. 9.6. Ethical AI versus AI ethics as compliance. Many contemporary AI ethics frameworks function as compliance instruments, checklists designed to manage reputational risk rather than prevent harm. Quiet excellence distinguishes itself by rejecting ethics as compliance in favor of ethics as containment. Ethical governance is evaluated not by documentation alone, but by whether systems meaningfully limit power, provide redress, and protect dignity under stress. This distinction positions quiet excellence as a foundational alternative, not a competing guideline. 9.7. Global inequality in post-colonial AI governance. AI systems developed in the global north are frequently deployed in the global south without adequate localization, consent, or accountability. This dynamic reproduces colonial patterns of extraction and experimentation. Ethical AI governance must therefore address not only bias and transparency, but sovereignty, participation, and power asymmetry. Quiet excellence demands that global AI deployment respect local legal systems, cultural contexts, and the right to refusal. 9.8 Education for ethical AI literacy. Sustainable AI governance requires ethical literacy across the lifespan, from doctoral education to public understanding. This chapter argues that ethical AI education must integrate law, trauma awareness, and moral reasoning alongside technical skill. Quiet excellence offers a pedagogical model emphasizing restraint, reflection, and responsibility rather than mastery alone. Ethical literacy becomes a civic capacity, not a specialist privilege. 9.9 Leadership under algorithmic uncertainty. AI introduces unprecedented uncertainty into leadership. Decisions are increasingly mediated by probabilistic systems whose inner workings are opaque even to their creators. Quiet excellence reframes leadership in this context as the capacity to pause, question, and refuse when ethical clarity is absent. The willingness to slow down, suspend deployment, or dismantle harmful systems becomes a mark of strength rather than weakness. 9.10 Legal accountability and due process. No AI system exists outside the rule of law. This chapter reinforces that legal accountability must remain human, traceable, and enforceable. Automated systems cannot be permitted to obscure responsibility or dilute due process. Quiet excellence positions law not as a barrier to innovation, but as the ethical spine that prevents technological overreach from becoming systemic violence. 9.11 Comparative ethical frameworks. Contrasting quiet excellence with techno-optimism and compliance-driven ethics clarifies its distinct contribution. Where techno-optimism assumes progress will self-correct, quiet excellence assumes harm must be actively prevented. Where compliance models manage risk, quiet excellence manages power. This comparative lens underscores the doctrine-level nature of the framework. 9.12 Toward dignity-based AI governance. Dignity-based governance centers the inviolability of human worth over performance metrics. It demands explainability, contestability, and meaningful consent. Quiet excellence offers a coherent architecture for dignity-based AI governance, integrating embodiment, law, leadership, and global ethics into a single, resilient system. 9. Synthesis, living with intelligent systems. Chapter 09 affirms that human-machine coexistence is not primarily a technical problem, but a moral one. The future of AI will be shaped less by capability than by ethical restraint. Quiet excellence provides a doctrine capable of guiding this future, quietly, lawfully, and without spectacle. Human flourishing in the age of AI depends not on domination or speed, but on the courage to protect dignity when power becomes easy to wield.